The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us on this very first day of March. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton in This Morning for Alex. Begin this morning with some breaking news. Fire crews are responding to a large structure fire in downtown Bakersfield. You can see the smoke there in the background. It broke out just about 30 minutes ago on 22nd and P Street. And now here's a look at the blaze from our rooftop camera. Again, it happened just blocks away. Taking a live look now at what it looks like now. Firefighters got on scene rather quickly about 45 minutes ago and were able to get this fire under control. It was apparently happening at an apartment complex that is under construction. Crews are still working to assess the damage. Again, this is near the corner of 22nd and P Street in downtown Bakersfield. We're still waiting to hear from officials on how they believe the fire started. As you can see, we have a news crew on scene and we'll continue to bring you updates, but you're going to smell the smoke, especially if you're in the downtown area. Making news now around the world this morning. It is day 6 of the Russian invasion in Ukraine. And Ukraine's state emergency services says a Russian missile has hit an administration building in Kharkiv. The emergency services posted this video showing the building being hit by a missile and exploding. The agency also released more videos showing the aftermath of the explosion. At least 6, including 1 child, were injured in the explosion, according to officials.
And these photos show the destruction of a military base near that city of Kharkiv. According to the head of the Sumy region, 70 soldiers died due to a Russian strike on the military base in Oktirka on Sunday. These photos, posted by Dmytro Zivitsky, show the charred shell of a 4-story building and rescuers searching through rubble. According to some reports, shelling missiles hit a building being used as a base by the Ukrainian military, as well as fuel tanks. In a later post, Zivitsky said some local residents were also killed during the fighting Sunday. However, NBC has not been able to independently confirm the casualty numbers. Meanwhile, both countries met on the border of Belarus to negotiate a solution, but they apparently made no progress. Ukraine and Russia did agree to another meeting in the coming days.
Western nations increased weapon shipments to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves, but those nations, including the U.S., have ruled out sending troops for now. Ukraine did move to solidify its ties to the West by applying to join the European Union. The move is symbolic and won't sit well with Russia's president. Vladimir Putin was already angered by Ukraine's desire to join NATO. Ukrainian President Zelensky is expected to address the European Parliament today.
California state legislators say are introducing a plan to divest state funds from Russia. Senate Majority Leader Mike McGuire and State Senator Dan Cortese introduced the bill today. They say because California is the world's 5th largest economy, extra steps taken by the state could help the people of Ukraine by putting additional financial pressure on the Russian economy. The bipartisan bill calls on all state agencies to divest from any and all Russian assets immediately.
Ukrainian government officials say a shipment of SpaceX's Starlink satellite internet dishes have arrived in Ukraine. The Starlink kits came less than 48 hours after CEO Elon Musk announced the company would send support. Ukraine Digital Minister Mikhailo Fedorov posted a photo showing more than 24 boxes of Starlink user kits in the back of a truck. Each kit includes a user terminal to connect to the satellites, a mounting tripod, and a Wi-Fi router. SpaceX has launched about 2,000 Starlink satellites to date to support its global network. The service is ideal for rural communities where internet access is very limited.
Well, people around the world are coming together in support of Ukraine, and that includes right here in Bakersfield.
We pray for the young men in Ukraine who are fighting. Lord, we pray the ones that have left their families.
A small group of supporters gathered at the corner of Stockdale Highway and California Avenue yesterday in support of Ukraine, calling for an end to the Russian attacks, and they have a message for the people of Ukraine.
We love you. We're proud of you.
How you doing?
We support you 100%. Everybody in Bakersfield, County, everybody supports them, loves them, and is looking out for them. We're praying right now for them.
Well, if many people are looking for ways to help Ukrainians displaced by this war, we do have a list on our website to help you find trustworthy causes where you can donate money to help refugees, including Doctors Without Borders, the Red Cross, UNICEF, and many more. You can just head to kget.com for that complete list and where to send those donations.
All right, your time now is 5:06 and making news around the nation. President Biden will deliver his first State of the Union address tonight.
Mr. Biden heads into the address amid a crisis overseas and with lower approval ratings than many of his recent predecessors. NBC's Bree Jackson is in D.C. with a preview.
Chris, Maddie, White House officials tell me President Biden plans to emphasize the united response to Russian aggression while also focusing on successes here at home. Against the backdrop of Russia's violent siege on Ukraine, President Biden is expected to tackle the threat of Vladimir Putin head-on during his first State of the Union address.
This is a crisis that we're dealing with right now as a global community, and so that certainly will be part of his speech.
What is the administration's coherent plan?
White House officials tell me the president will highlight the unified response to Russia's invasion while also laying out successes here at home, touting historic investments in infrastructure, more than 6 million jobs added to the economy, and the progress made in America's fight against COVID.
All those shots in arms, all the therapeutics, all the testing, that didn't just happen. That's a record of results.
Tonight's speech will look far different than last year. This time, face masks are optional as COVID restrictions ease nationwide. Republicans challenge President Biden's agenda success.
He told us he would make America safer. He really hasn't bothered. And he's told us he would rebuild our economy in record time, yet we have inflation beating 40-year-old records.
Inflation relief, another topic the administration will highlight tonight, which includes calling on Congress to pass key pieces of Biden's Build Back Better legislation and speaking directly to Americans about overcoming obstacles.
What does it mean when gas prices go up? And so this is something that he can speak to in an authentic way.
The president will make his case to the nation. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds is set to deliver the Republican response to President Biden's State of the Union address. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for 17 News.
And a programming note for you, we will have a shortened evening broadcast tonight and a half hour of news at 5 p.m. immediately followed by NBC Nightly News at 5:30 and the President's State of the Union address live at 6 p.m. right here on TV 17.
Time now 5:09, making news around the state, a tragic shooting in an Arden arcade yesterday. Investigators say a man was on a supervised visit with his 3 daughters when he shot and killed them, along with their chaperone, then turned the gun on himself. Authorities say the gunman's 3 daughters were 9, 10, and 13 years old. The Sacramento Sheriff's Office says the shooting happened inside a church while the children were on a supervised visit with their dad. Their mother had taken out a restraining order against him.
Domestic violence is real. Just to hear that a father would take the life of his 3 kids, being a father myself, I could never imagine. And it just goes to show how much we need more of a commitment to mental health.
Officials received an emergency call just after 5 p.m. from a person inside the church who heard the gunshots. Sacramento police confirmed the shooter took his own life after the incident.
And Governor Gavin Newsom is reacting to the shooting in Sacramento, tweeted last night, another senseless act of gun violence in America, this time in our backyard, in a church with kids inside. He called the shooting absolutely devastating. Sacramento Councilmember Eric Guerra also tweeted, sending his condolences to the family of the victims. He said it's unfortunate this atrocity happened at a church where everyone deserves to feel safe and protected.
In your 17 Court Watch this morning, a man accused of leaving the scene of a deadly hit-and-run crash in southwest Bakersfield was in court yesterday. 41-year-old Barry Minor Jr. pled not guilty to charges of hit-and-run, resulting in death and driving without a license. Police arrested Minor last week in connection with a New Year's Eve crash on Callaway Drive, just north of Stockdale Highway, that killed a pedestrian. Minor's bail was set at $70,000. He's due back in court March 30th. The pedestrian's name has not yet been released.
2 inmates accused of stabbing a 3rd inmate to death at Kern Valley State Prison were also in court yesterday. 37-year-old Marcos Lamelli and 27-year-old Alberto Mejia are suspected of killing 40-year-old Artemio Gomez last June with weapons they manufactured behind bars. They both pleaded not guilty to murder. Both Lamelli and Mejia are already serving time for prior murder cases.
Bakersfield Senator Shannon Grove introduced new legislation yesterday to fight human trafficking. Senate Bill 1042 would include human trafficking in the lists of crimes that are defined as serious and violent under California law. The crime would also be included as a strike under the 3 strikes law. Kern County District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer says this bill will ensure traffickers cannot avoid prison and will be held accountable.
Well, what if law enforcement could use a network of mounted cameras that automatically capture license plate numbers to catch car thieves and solve child abductions? It's something the Kern County Sheriff's Department is hoping to implement. 17th Robert Price has more.
Valuable law enforcement tool, invasion of privacy rights, or both? Cities and counties across the country are weighing those considerations as a new tool becomes available. License plate readers. ALPRs, as they're often called, are high-speed, high-resolution cameras that can be mounted on utility poles, streetlights, overpasses, or police cars to capture hundreds and sometimes thousands of plates a minute, instantaneously matching them against hot lists to identify suspects. They've been useful fighting burglary and car theft and responding to Amber Alert child abductions. And the Kern County Sheriff's Department wants them, or at least wants to learn more about them. On Tuesday, it will ask the Board of Supervisors to approve the KCSO's participation in a 1-year study of ALPR's value. Flock Group Incorporated, an Atlanta-based ALPR maker, will install 25 stationary plate readers around the county, free of charge for 1 year. If after 1 year the KCSO finds them sufficiently useful, the sheriff can come back to the board and ask for funding, about $68,000 a year. The Bakersfield Police Department already uses ALPRs, 2 of them mounted on patrol cars, and one private community, Old Stockdale, also has them. But 2 Kern County cities, citing privacy concerns, have rejected them, Delano and Wasco. Among the questions, how long may an agency store ALPR data, and can it share that data with other agencies? Kern County Sheriff Donnie Youngblood says it's worth the obligation-free trial.
The study will tell us whether beneficial. We'll use our crime data to figure out best places to put these and make sure that they're on public property. They'll record the license plates, the information we'll keep for 30 days. It's deleted. Any major crime, we can go back, look at the data, and there are agencies throughout the country that are having some pretty great successes with, cameras are our world now.
Bakersfield and Kern County are among the hardest hit places in the country for stolen cars, and statistics show license plate cameras greatly increase prompt recovery. They've proven useful in solving many crimes. But do those benefits outweigh what critics say is a continuing descent into the surveillance state? Another skirmish in that battle plays out right here in Kern County this week. At Kern County Sheriff's Headquarters, Robert Price, 17 News.
Your time now is 5:35, and an update now on K9 Axel with the Delano Police Department as he continues on his road to recovery. Delano Police posted these new photos on Facebook. You might remember Axel was shot and wounded on New Year's Day while trying to subdue a suspect. Police say Commander Lopez and Chief Davis were able to visit with Axel last week, say he is recovering well and enjoying the attention. Police say it's still too early to tell if Axel will be able to return to full duty, but officers also thank the community for their prayers and well wishes for Axel.
All right, good to see he's doing good.
Yeah.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.